Good evening. This is Shamiran, and welcome to another session of NIF Connect. It's wonderful to have you. I've not been able to attend the previous one, but this one's really special. So we've got amazing content this time. We've got Mikhail from Kaspersky doing a wonderful demo. But just to begin, I want to just introduce you to the concept of Connect. We're basically a open user group, loosely coupled with the NIF platform. We are basically folks who are already using NIF, um, sharing ideas on the platform, and also we want to invite industry experts and partners to present their technology and talk about how they are solving cybersecurity challenges. In fact, we are also planning to bring more content with respect to integrations that we've got with partners and the NIF platform. So I think that's the whole idea. It's about sharing the latest technology and capabilities, not just about the platform, but also with our close partners that we work with, and also hear from our customers in how they're solving cybersecurity challenges or custom scenarios which are very specific to certain industries. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over the session to our curator, Mervin Marks. Mervin, as you all know, has been putting all this together and has been, enthusiastically bringing the whole community together. So over to you, Mervin.
Thank you, Shom. Thank you for that introduction. As always, we missed you for the past 2 to 3 connects. Obviously, Shom's a busy man, so he keeps traveling, and really great to have you back. And like a warm voice that has that introduction, and does that justice to this introduction.
Thanks,
So great,
Mervin.
great.
Thanks.
As Shom told you, my name is Mervin. I handle this Connect, and I put together the material for Connect. And it's a great thing to be working with these partners and customers that come here, and I get to speak to them, and it's a great connecting and bonding session with them when we get to understand how we can work together and what we can present, what betters the community on the whole, right? So before we go ahead, so we're streaming live on YouTube, right? So just in case you get disconnected for any reasons, you're not able to connect back, we're streaming live on YouTube. Plus, a recording of the entire session will be sent to you on your registered email, right? So another thing that the whole Connect is built around is sharing knowledge and sharing technology, sharing ideas, all of this, right? That is what Connect is all about. So here what we trying to say is, you share your knowledge, right? Write to us at connect@nif.it and tell us what you want to present, or because we have a whole lineup and we want to streamline this whole process and make it efficient, right? So write to us at connect@nif.it and let us know what your ideas are, what you'd like to present on. It could be a 5, it could be a 10, it could be a 20, 30, or a 40-minute presentation on a particular defensive technology and offensive technology. Whatever that you have in your mind, write it to us. We will obviously get in touch with you and figure out if how we can make this happen. And just remember that as a presenter, you're assured an Amazon gift voucher of 1,000 rupees. Right. So you obviously, if you come on to Connect and you become a presenter, you join the ranks of our Connect community heroes. As you can see, everyone from PwC, NSDL, NSC, BFeed, Qualys, NetMagic, all of these are good friends, great guys. I've had the chance and opportunity to work with them, speak to them over a course of time, and build a lot of content, build a lot of ideas that they had, and they came on and they presented. Very thankful to them for that. Also, thanks to our tech and knowledge partners from the previous sessions. As you can see, we have a whole bunch of friends out there, and that list is constantly growing. We have more people coming in. We have more presenters signing up, and more you said technology heads and leaders and visionaries in this whole environment. Cybersecurity. We have these people coming forward, and if there were companies, they could be people as well that are interested in this whole in NIF Connect itself. So let me just, without wasting time, break down the agenda for today. So we start out with a session from Lenora Agnell, who is going to talk to us about NIF integration with Kaspersky lookup and threat intelligence data feeds. We're followed by, as Sean mentioned, Mikhail Moskvin, who is cybersecurity specialist at Kaspersky, and he will be telling us about threat intelligence and a few cybersecurity challenges. Then we will also talk to, we will also be presenting from who will tell us about NIF command and control, right? So without further ado, let's move on to Lenora. Okay, so Lenora is a cybersecurity analyst. Many people, she's not new to presenting at NIF Connect, right? So she's a cybersecurity enthusiast. She constantly loves involving herself in anything that is remotely technical. In her free time, Lenora enjoys sketching and writing short poems. Right, so she is going to tell us about the NIF integration with Kaspersky lookups and threat intelligence data feeds. Before we head into our session, just would like to talk about the session contributor itself, Kaspersky. Now, it's a hard name. Everyone knows about Kaspersky, but I'll just give you a little background. Kaspersky is a global cybersecurity company. Its deep threat intelligence and security expertise is constantly transforming into innovative security solutions and services which protect businesses, critical infrastructure, governments, and customers around the globe. Now, everyone knows Kaspersky as the leading endpoint protector, but they also have a number of specialized security solutions and services to fight sophisticated and evolving digital threats. Now, that is something that to keep in mind, apart from just the the endpoint protection. So without further ado, I will pass the mantle on to Lenora, who will take the session ahead. Just before I do that, I just want, on a personal note, Lenora, you still have that poem pending. This poem was promised to me on the very first Connect. That was somewhere in February, and this is Connect 6, and I still have not seen that. It might be one of those invisible poems, that the people keep talking about. But that being said, I'll pass it on to you. All the best.
Thank you, Mervin. I think I'm going to be writing one poem for all of our technology partners now, and I assure you it's going to be worth the wait. So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining our meetup. My topic for today is NIF integration with Kaspersky lookup and threat intelligence data feeds. So, for this, we are going to be using the lookup directive in NIF along with the intel feeds from Kaspersky in order to detect all of the potential threats among the traffic that we receive. Now, how are we going to do this? First, we integrate the Kaspersky API plugin with NIF, and post that we run lookups with Kaspersky against the indicators of compromise. The Kaspersky Threat Intelligence Portal enables you to request threat intelligence for MD5 hashes, IP addresses, domains, and URLs. This portal also displays whether an object is in good, bad, or not categorized zones, while providing a rich set of contextual data to answer the who, what, where, and when questions that help you respond to or investigate threats more effectively. Apart from using Kaspersky as a lookup plugin, we are also going to make use of it as an enrichment plugin. So this enrichment plugin will also help us provide intel feeds. The logs that are forwarded by devices are enriched by various intel plugins and are displayed along with the logs. These intel feeds include a number of fields like threat type. This field tells you what kind of information, what kind of threat it is, the domain registrar name, its popularity score, and a lot of other information. So let's go on to the NIF console and find out what these use cases are. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. I hope it's visible. So this is our NIF console where all the magic happens. And the first query that we're going to run here is fetch star from event where threat type is phishing and it enrich equals true. So enrich is going to give you all of the enriched logs, and the duration that we're specifying here is 2 hours, and the Intel reference here is Kaspersky. Um, so once we run this query, it will give you all of the enriched logs from Kaspersky. You could see the domain here, the destination port, and enriched logs from Kaspersky, which gives you the KL city, the KL country, when it was created, the domain name, when it's going to expire, and all of this. Uh, the threat type here is phishing. It could also be any other threat type like the blacklisted IPs or URLs. And if we want to list out the unique domains, we just use the group count unique function here and specify domain along with the source IPs. So this will give you unique domains and the source IPs from which we've received traffic. Apart from this, if you want to check if there are any requests sent to a domain more than a certain number of times, you could first use the aggregate directive in NIF, use the count unique function, and specify the domain field here. Associated with this is the count unique here. It gives you the number of times a request has been sent to this domain. Now you could use the checkif function here and compare it if the count exceeds 2 or whatever you want to specify, and write include. So since we had only the count as 1, you won't get any data here. But if you find that the count exceeds 2, you could raise an alert for this particular domain that exceeds the count that you set. Now, another use case that we have is included in our threat hunting package. This use case is named process whitelisting using Kaspersky. So the first query that we've written here, it fetches logs from Windows Sysmon and all the logs that have the event ID 1. Event ID 1 is for new processes that are created. We specify the duration as 1 hour and list all of the unique applications and their unique hashes. So we then run the checkif lookup function, and we create a profile that has been named Windows hashes. We'll just go here and look at how this profile looks like. So we've already created a profile that has all of the applications and its hash MD5s. And with this profile, we compare the hashes and the applications that we fetched in the data from the first query. We compare the applications and the hashes. And if those applications and their unique hashes are included in our profile, we exclude them and run a lookup against Kaspersky using the get hash report and against the hash MD5 field. So Kaspersky has this $KL zone field, which could either be green, red, or yellow. So green, if the KL zone is green, it means that all of these applications and their hashes are not malicious at all, they are safe. If they're red, it means they are malicious. And if they're yellow, it means that it could be associated with adware or pornware. So after we run a lookup, we compare if the KL zone of all of these applications and their hashes are included in green. And if they are, we append it to the store that we've created. So this store will contain all of the safe applications or the processes that are going on in your system. We keep updating this profile so that we have a list of we whitelist all of the processes that are running in your system. The next query here, we fetch the applications and the hashes along with their device source IPs. We go and compare all of these with the store that we've created. We run a lookup with Kaspersky using the get hash report function against the hashes. And we check if these applications come under the red KL zone. And if they belong to this KL zone, an alert is raised against this application that is running. This is our package name here and the module name that is going to be raised against the device source IP. We do the same thing for uh, logs that have applications that belong to the yellow zone, the KL zone that is yellow, and we fetch logs from Windows Sysmon. We compare it with the store that we've created, run a lookup with Kaspersky, and then compare if it belongs to the yellow KL zone, and then we raise a module for all of these applications. So that is how we whitelist all of these processes using Kaspersky. And apart from this use case, there are a lot of other use cases that we have in our threat hunting package. So that is how Kaspersky helps you mitigate and respond to threats effectively. I hope you guys enjoyed the demo, and if you have any questions regarding the session, please address them to me in the Q&A panel. Thank you. Over to you, Mervin.
So that was Lenora, and take on the integration with Kaspersky lookup and threat intelligence data feeds. We have showcased some of the lookups in a previous session, actually the very first session, and it was showcased by the same team, right? And we're still working with threat intelligence feeds, and there's a lot of scope over there. And we will as a collaboration, Kaspersky and NIF will bring this out to the market very soon. At present, it's in a trial and test phase where we are still the team is still working with the technology, which is quite comprehensive, right? So, but again, thank you very much, Leonora. Looking forward to that poem. Hopefully, I get to see it within this week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, right? And okay, so also, it's always important to appreciate the people at the back end, and the background who are doing stuff, and and it's important to recognize them. So at this point, I'd like to give a shout out, a special thanks to Sanket Shah and Karthik Subramanian, who have helped a lot with the Kaspersky threat intel feeds and the lookups. Karthik has been working with the feeds for a very long time. Sanket has helped him. Sanket has been pushing this as well. So thank you guys, and this is a shout out to y'all, and I'm making this public so that you all get to hear that out. So yeah. So as I forgot to mention this in the start, but we have a lot of Amazon freebies to give out. So basically Amazon vouchers that we're giving out. We have 3 major categories that we give out. The best question is one of them. You can join the ranks of the previous the winners. As you can see, their names have listed out. I promised the winners that one day I would actually have a separate page showcasing them. I have some of the their picks, but some of them have not sent it to me. So I'm just waiting for all of that so that, you know, I can highlight that as the winners of the best question. Very simple. If you have any questions, right, all you need to do is click the Q&A tab, right, mention the speaker that you want to address the question to, and then mention your question. Right, and you can keep posting questions about each and every session, each and every presentation that we have. We have the next presenter as well presenting. So if there are questions addressed to anyone, you can keep asking, and at the end of the day, the best question will win 1,000 rupee gift voucher from Amazon. So go ahead, click that Q&A tab. Another one that we also like is the Social Geek Award. Again, a very simple method, no questions asked in this. All you need to do is use a little bit of your writing skills, right? Tweet on Twitter or post on Facebook using our hashtag NIF Connect and @NIF HQ, and you stand a chance of winning 1,000 rupee gift voucher again. So it's as simple as that. All you need to do is tweet or post using our Twitter and Facebook handles, and you can easily win Amazon gift voucher. So another way, right? So now moving on to our featured presenter of the evening. So Mikhail Moskvin. So great gentleman. I have had the opportunity to speak to him and engage with him like all the other presenters. A very nice gentleman. Has been very helpful and very kind during this whole process, helping us with a lot of the work that we're doing with the threat intelligence feeds, right? And till last moment, he was pushing around and trying to make sure that we have everything in place so that, you know, we can present appropriately. So a little bit about Mikhail. He works at Kaspersky HQ and is responsible for the successful implementation of Kaspersky threat intelligence products and services. Now, he has a strong technical background and brings with him vast knowledge on the workings with threat intelligence prospects and clients. He has wide experience in data feed implementation in various environments. And after that, he's a stand-up great guy. So without further ado, I'll pass the mantle on to Mikhail so that he can take the session forward. And his session is going to be about threat intelligence, right? And the cybersecurity challenges that are faced. Okay, so without further ado, over to you, Mikhail. Mikhail, can you hear me?
Hello, colleagues. Do you hear me well?
Yes, we do, Mikhail. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, have you? Do you see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, perfectly. Thank you, Maren, very much for my presentation, for introducing myself. My name is Mikhail Moskvin. Thank you so much for invitation to be a presenter on this such NIF Connect session. It's my really big pleasure to meet you all. And if it is something bad with my voice, you just click me or say something, but perhaps it will be good. So I'm working at the Kaspersky, and I'm responsible for cybersecurity portfolio and threat intelligence offering. And today we talk about the threat intelligence and cybersecurity challenges from the scratch, and I will show you a real demo how to catch real advanced persistent threat attack using the Kaspersky Threat Intelligence Portal. So I believe that this topic will be very interesting and helpful for you. Now let's start. I will start with Scratch, and obviously the network are becoming more and more interconnected. Yeah, and this leads to the expanded attack surface, and together the threats becoming more and more sophisticated. This creates a really difficult and challenging situation. So we see that the boundaries for highly sophisticated threats begin to blur. For example, we got ransomware attacks such as NotPetya and another highly sophisticated attacks and tools, and advanced persistent threats, APTs, such as shadow brokers, data leak, and so on. And we also see that APT vectors become involved in an attack seeking financial gains, such as cyberespionage and so on. And the main questions here, how threat intelligence can help to overcome those challenges. Yeah, and speaking about the motivation of threat actors are very widely. From money theft to blackmail, identity theft, each industry, each organization has shown unique data, and they want to protect this unique data and their set of applications, technologies, and depending on what industry the organization operates in, there is a certain motivation that is specific for that industry, like in a telecom area, healthcare area, finance, and government sector. Yeah, and we can involving cyber security challenges, and the challenges could be the following, like a lack of comprehensive threat overview, like a poor prioritization of security alerts, like undiscovering threats lurking within the organization, or insufficient incident response. And I would like to start with the first pool questions. Maybe Marin will help me with that.
Yeah, great. So we'll start with the first poll question. And do remember, all present, right, all attendees, feel free to hit the Q&A tab whenever you're willing. So you can hit the Q&A tab, ask the question, okay, and mention who it is addressed to, and you stand a chance of winning. So without wasting more time, I will make the first poll question live. All I have to do is just launch the poll question, right? You have about 20 seconds to answer. It's a very simple one, and once I launch it, okay, after which 20 seconds I will stop and I will share the results with everyone. So I'm launching. So are you using premium threat intelligence? Very simple question. You can go ahead and start responding. Okay, we are about to end polls and ending poll now, and I will share results. Okay, so there are a few people who have responded to this one. I'm not sure as to how many people are actually using threat intelligence, premium threat intelligence. So yeah, okay. So as we can see. So any inputs on this? Is it do you see people, a lot of people, Mikhail, using threat intelligence?
Yeah, I see that mostly are using the intelligence, and half of them using the premium one, and half of them open source intelligence. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Maybe my next slides will open up more interesting facts about the using the intelligence, and of course the intelligence selection criteria will be absorbed by me. Okay, I will continue. Yeah, I want to talk about a little bit the detection methods. It's a very important one, and I guess that you already seen this picture. It's David Bianca's so-called pyramid of pain, and it's about the different detection methods which can be used. You can see on the bottom here. You can see on the bottom of pyramid there are indicators which are easy for attackers to change, like a hash value, IP addresses, or domain names. But if you move up the pyramid, you start to hurt the attackers much more. So detection by the networks, host artifacts, like a registry keys or file path by specific tools used are challenging, but still can be overcome. But if you're able to detect your threat actors like attack techniques and procedures, TTP, it's on the top. Here, you have already one half of the bottom. Yeah. Speaking about the TTP, probably you know that, but so what's the TTP? First of all, tactics represent the why question. So it's the adversary's tactics objectives, the reason for the performance of such action. Techniques represents how adversaries achieve tactical objectives by performing an action. So, for example, adversary may dump credential to achieve credential access, right? Speaking about the procedures are the exact ways a particular advisory or piece of software implements the technique. For example, adversary could use, for example, mimikatz to dump credential in order to achieve credential access. Yeah. And moving on, I would like to speak a little more about the intelligent incident management. First of all, once the goals and priorities have set, it starts with the incident management cycle. And it starts with the monitoring detection, moving to the development use cases and future implementation, the triage the alerts, then doing the investigation and response. Then moving on a continuous improvement. In order to make this circle more efficient, there are certain questions need to be answered, like who, why, when, how. Is it the false or positive or it's true? What kind of priority? And a very important question about the context. And because missing one of the compromised system had the attackers to be able to get inside the network again, so it must be the main question, what is the scope? And here I would like to present you threat intelligence use cases. Yeah, and all the previous question could be answered with this threat intelligence and the various use cases. Yeah, and it help with the machine readable threat intelligence and on the technical part. Machine for the low level can enhance security control and enable effective alert prioritization, can prevent analyst burnout while investigating attack. On the tactical level here, threat intelligence can improve threat hunting mission, can help to develop effective monitoring and detection use cases as well. On the strategic level, on the left side, on the strategic level, threat intelligence allows understand the specific risk for the specific country, develop a proactive mitigation and measures. Yeah, and it's harder than it seems. And it's really threat intelligence really works, but it had some challenges, like there are a lot of data, there are multiple streams of the data, there are a lot of, it could be irrelevant data, it could be false positives that are very harmful, and a lot of, about 44% of alerts are not investigated, and more, there could be no common format, huge number of indicators of huge number of compromises, and SIEM could be easily overloaded. And what's the main selection criteria for the threat intelligence? I would like to answer for this question. I think it's the main and very important question for the selection threat intelligence. And from our point of view, first of all, intelligence should be with the global reach, providing the broadest attack visibility. Secondly, provided with the track record and the spotting new threats early, as soon as possible. Third, it should be context-rich and immediately actionable intelligence. And finally, it should be delivers formats and mechanisms that allow easy integration into existing security controls. And here we have the pool question number 2.
Right. So I'm raising the poll question based on this. So 20 seconds, I will make the poll live, and let's see the response to this. What's the poll? Do you use any of the aforementioned threat intelligence selection criteria during data feed evaluation? Simple question. Let's see what people are going ahead and answering. So I see a lot of flurry now. And okay, I see some numbers come through. Okay, see, I still see people voting. Wow, nice. Okay, so I am ending the polls, even though I've extended a little bit, right? And I'm ending the poll and I'm sharing the results. Okay, I think a lot of people use the selection criteria, which is very important. Right. So
yeah, perfectly. Yeah, but somebody doesn't use this, and I think that this for those people it will be very helpful
Yeah, true.
To start.
I think we just we opened a few minds today.
Yeah, it will be great. It's our main target. And this is the purpose of our meetup, yeah. And colleagues, if guys, if somebody has another selection criteria, please share with us your ideas. It also will be very helpful.
Yeah, so the Q&A tab, okay, so light that Q&A tab up, keep asking questions. So it could be in relation to anything that Mikhail has also spoken, Lenora has spoken. So feel free to hit that Q&A tab, ask those questions, and let us know.
Yeah, and I will continue. Right, I will continue speaking about the Kaspersky Threat Intelligence sources. It will be interesting. First of all, Kaspersky has more than 20 years expertise in this area. We have a really huge coverage, about more than 100 million users, global users, voluntarily shared the statistic to our Kaspersky security networks, to our KSN. And thanks for the statistics, and as well, thanks for the open source intelligence, and thanks for our sensor globally, thanks to our very important APT research team on our part of the world, our partners. We check it for the false positive. We use on refresh and actual data. We check it very fastly, and we generate threat intelligence to our customers. And we have ready-to-use connectors and integration with a variety of our products. Speaking about Kaspersky Threat Intelligence, yeah, it's previously I showed the same picture, but you can see that Kaspersky Threat Intelligence portfolio covers all of these use cases that I mentioned earlier. That could be the threat data feeds, that could be threat lookup that you see with the NIF Next-Gen SIEM sandbox with our PT threat intelligence reports, financial reports, and custom and country-specific threat intelligence reportings. We're currently offering a set of threat data feeds that can be integrated with the customer's existing security controls, such as SIEM system, threat intelligence platform, network security devices, and etc. All the timely detection for these threats. And Kaspersky feeds can be divided into 3 groups. It's URLs, IPs, and hashes. And all of this type could be the log source, and could be this type on the right, could be the log sources. So it is possible to make matches between the data and the logs against the feeds on the left. Right. And we use CyberTrace, it's correlation fusion utility. CyberTrace is a threat intelligence fusion and analysis tool that integrate threat data feeds within any SIEM solution, so that user can immediately leverage threat intelligence for security monitoring and incident response and activities in the existing security operation workflow. Here you can see the pretty simple workflow that any SIEM can forward events to CyberTrace. CyberTrace matches these events against the feeds and send detection back to any kind of SIEM. We have connection to any kind of SIEM systems. And the CyberTrace could only have access to the internet for the updating feeds and doesn't say something, only matching on the fly logs against the feeds. And it has a GUI interface, and cybersecurity officer can check what is going on with the statistics, and they can add a custom fix as well. All right. Speaking about the Kaspersky differentiators, we use the global intelligence, visibility, and targeting on a new organization. We have a successful threat hunters in the dark web. We provide a major presence with all the region globally. We have a rich and manifold context. It's a very important part because our context is really full. You already seen it in our threat lookup. And we have a highest detection rate, of course. I think that's it speaking about the presentation. You could ask me any question as you want, online or offline. And next, I want to move on to the demo. It's demo time. But before demo time, let's check the questions. If any other questions.
Yeah, at present, I'm seeing a slump in the questions. I mean, I don't know questions in regards to this interesting presentation. Mostly it lights up, but I think there's taken a turn for the bad over here. So, but anyways, I think there should be some good questions coming up. I think we should just go ahead and proceed.
Okay. Okay, let's proceed. I have pool number 3 for now. Marvin, could you help me with that?
Yes. So I am raising the third poll question. Okay, and the same rules apply. 20 seconds, and poll answers will be made live. So launching. Yes. What kind of sandbox solution do you use in your security operations? Okay, and seeing another play. And okay, so I'm ending poll now, and here we go, and I'm sharing the results.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah, so some just don't use sandboxing. But Mikhail, what are your thoughts on this? Is this something that
yeah, for me it's very interesting because many of companies don't want to use the cloud sandbox because they don't want to share their internal data to the cloud. But some companies doesn't care about this, and they trust the vendors and use cloud sandbox. And I can see here that a little bit more participants use really cloud sandbox in this way.
right?
It's interesting. We have in our Kaspersky portfolio, we have both cloud sandbox and on-premise sandbox.
Okay, so that's great. I was actually going to ask, what is the takeaway? Like, is it the trust factor that keeps people away from the cloud, or is there appropriate measures put into place to make cloud sandboxing a better option? Now, I'm not sure. I'm not the expert on this, but is there in any way cloud sandbox better or maybe less as compared to on-prem, or is it just that the fact that people are afraid, or organizations are afraid of having their data sent on the cloud over there and then being analyzed in that manner?
Yeah, it's absolutely the same functionality, speaking about cloud sandbox or on-premise sandbox, but mostly company like to have sandbox on-premise nearby physically.
Okay.
But we have a few number of customers who are using our cloud sandbox solution from the India market as well. And it's always it's cheaper and easy for implementing. Yeah, I will show you the demo with the just a second. I will close the presentation and open the. Yeah, I will show the demo with our Threat Intelligence Portal. You can see it here on the screen. Yeah, and a quick overview about the Threat Intelligence Portal. It's about the all the top threats. Speaking about all type of threats, antivirus statistics, on-demand, anti-spam, vulnerability. It has a APT reporting. APT reports is our main threat intelligence. There's threat lookups, who is taken, and here is the cloud sandbox. Also, as well, you can also download the feeds from the Threat Intelligence Portal. Let's start with the demo. I want to show you a pretty interesting demo. It's with a real malware. Yeah, and suppose that you are working in the security operations center and somehow you got the strange exe file on your network, and you want to execute this file on the sandbox. You can select this file, the sandbox. Choose the environment. Let it be Windows 10. Of course, you will use it in zip with a password. And I wanted to execute this file. I have already executed this file before. You can see the same hash value because it needed some time to execute it. Let's check for the details, right? Supposed to be the Security Operations Center specialist. What we got here? We have a summary, and the summary, it's called Israel malware. You can see it here. It says detection, 6 detects, so 6 suspicious activities. Here you can see the detection name, execution map for each activities here, suspicious activities, it was suspicious, and screenshots from the screen, what's going on. Right. And if you go to the extracted files, you can find out that some files were dropped. You can see that these files were dropped, and we can thread lookup it. What is the file? Let's take lookup it. We automatically went to the thread lookup page, and we can see that this is real malware. This whole information about this malware. And let's check which the file accessed following URLs. From which file, from which URL. You can, and as a Security Operations Center specialist, you want to look up this domain. Let's look up domain where this file accessed. You can look up it. And what we get here? We get that this is a real APT-related domain. And here is the reports about this APT attack. So probably your company was compromised. And special action should be continued. You can download this report and read this report. What should you do? I don't have a commercial license for download this report, but I will show you a demo report from another indicator of compromise from this URL. So the reports will look like this. Here is the YARA rules. You can download YARA rules. You can download an indicator of compromise that's connected to this APT attack. And here is the report. Let's download the report first of all. And the report could be divided in 3 parts. First of all, it's for executive summary for the C-level, for company C-level, for the CISO, CTO, for CO. And the technical analysis for the technical guys, for the technical stuff. It's a quite big technical analysis. And the third part is about indicator of compromise as a connected to this specific attack. So it's quite interesting, and you can start investigation about this attack if it comes to your network. So it's quite interesting to use the cloud sandbox, threat lookup, and of course APT reporting, because you can just read these APT reports. It could be any sectors, it could be financial reports, it could be just APT reports for any company, for the industry, for the geo, for the actors. It's quite interesting. It was a demo. If you have any question, I am ready to answer it. So that's it.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mikhail. But at present, I think we are running short of questions. So now many questions have popped up. So, but irrespective of that, if anyone has any questions, they can very clearly contact Mikhail himself at Kaspersky Labs. I'm not sure if Mikhail, in any of the slides, did you have any of your contact information mentioned?
My contact information.
Yeah, so you're in case that you like, or they could directly write, or it's very simple. You could write to us. Okay, all attendees can very simply write.
Yeah, it's a little better, right? Yeah.
So connect at NIF.8 with your questions. It's going to be very simple. If you address a question, you don't even have to mention who it is addressed to. Based on the question, we figure it out. It's if it's for Lenora, if it's for Mikhail, if it's for anyone. So yeah. That was.
I have seen, Marin, I have seen one question, open question. Can I ask it shortly from the Varun?
Okay.
Varun just asked how botnet can be blocked in firewall level if the firewall don't have the signature for that bot. In our opinion, firewall logs should be connected to any SIEM system, and SIEM system should connect it to our cyber trace and matching the logs. There will be detection because this particular URL from the firewall indicator of compromise of such attacks, so it can include it or any feeds. And so detection will be appeared with the context, and using this context, security operation team could start an investigation, any incident response activities. So we could implement our feeds into firewall as well. It's possible, or you can use SIEM system for the matching against the feeds. Have I answered your questions, Varun?
Yeah, I believe that was the answer. Anyways, if Varun has any cross questions.
Yeah, there is one important question here.
Another one, yes.
Yeah. How real time a feeds updated as compared to open source that are already part of NIF Intel? This is for Mikhail. Yeah, Kaspersky feeds should be updated every 30 minutes. It's a very important question. Yeah, absolutely. So our feeds should be updated every 30 minutes, and hash feeds should be updated every 1 hour.
Okay. I think if that, Akash, answers your question, because for me it was as simple as that. So, yeah. So we could obviously move on and get on with the session.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mikhail. Thank you for taking this taking time out and coming here and presenting. It's really helpful. So attendees, if you have any questions, or if you have any questions for later, you can always write to us at Konnect at NIF.8, and we're more than happy to pass them on to Mikhail, who'd answer them, and then we'd send that back to you or post it on stack.nif.8, right? So for everyone, for the whole community to see, right? Thank you very much, Mikhail.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
See you. So again, just bringing back, thanking our technology and knowledge partners, Kaspersky, for taking time, contributing towards the session, as well as Mikhail for coming on board and presenting and contributing towards NIF Connect. Now we also. Yeah, so let me just talk about the community right now. So all about the community is a more important factor of contributing to the community, right? So all you need to do is give us your feedback. Like, the contribution could be in the simplest manner is giving us your feedback. What in NIF Connect would you like to see more? Would you like to see more threat intelligence? Would you like to see more threat intelligence partners come aboard? Integration partners come aboard and present? Would you like to see more industry specialists or industry leaders come and present? All of this can be written to us at connect@nif.8, and we're more than happy to take all of this information and assimilate it into our into our whole meetup, right? Okay, so this is something that is very important to me. Okay, I included this very recently and on short notice, right? So my saying to everyone is, don't be a desk jockey, right? So I just read a small article on LinkedIn that 68% of the people working, corporate people working in offices are overweight, Right? That's 68%. That's not that's more than 50, and it's unhealthy working unhealthy working environments. We're sitting on the desk. I myself sit on the desk and work the whole day. I try to get up a few while. I try to eat right. I definitely eat right. If you ask people in the office, they they know me for quite some time. I work out. I stay active and I stay healthy. So that's what I want to imply to all the community members, everyone out there. You have friends, you have family. Remember, tell them to eat right, work out, stay active, and stay healthy. See, no one has time to work out, right? No one has time. Everything. That's always the point. So you have to make time. You have to make time, just like you make time for everything else. Like, you can put down that vada pav, you can put down that samosa pav, and maybe eat something healthy like grams or chana and peanuts, or maybe a fresh salad, or a sandwich. That's something as simple as that. And do a little workout, do a little exercise, add that to your routine, and it changes your life. You feel better. So please just remember that. So another aspect of the community captain award is all about being a part of the community and contributing. So the person who engages the most, asks the most questions, answers the most questions, and contributes or shares or just interacts with the other community members, you stand a chance of becoming the community captain for Tag.NIF, and you end up winning 1,000 rupee gift vouchers. Very simple, and it's that easy. Right, so go ahead and interact with your fellow community members. Right, so it is time to talk about DCC. So that is NIF Command and Control, that as we call it. And trying to introduce Mukesh Yadav, who is the technical trainer at NIF. Now, a little bit about Mukesh. Mukesh is a very intense person with a lot of expertise. So Mukesh is an expert in machine learning, sentiment analysis, neural network, data analytics using Python, R programming, MATLAB programming, IoT, Android application development. Now, when she's not doing all of this, or not prepping for all of this, or not certifying herself for all of this, she's also a sports enthusiast who loves swimming, table tennis, running, trekking, and marathons. Now, talking about all that activity and all that stuff, this person is really active and really a go-getter. So she's going to be talking about NIF Command and Control and how it can help in managing and monitoring your NIF setup, right? As a customer or as a user of NIF, how do you manage all of that? So without further taking time, I'll pass the mantle on to Mukesh, who will take it further. Mukesh, please go ahead. Okay, I think Mukesh has to figure out some technical issues with the audio. So,
thank you, Marvin, for the sweet introduction. And am I audible? Okay. So
yes,
a
you are. Yes, you
very
are.
okay. A very good evening to everyone. I hope you can see my screen. So I will be presenting on a new, beautiful, and an interesting feature which is provided by NIF, that is DCC.
Mukesh, I have a feeling that you've not shared your screen with us.
Okay. So just let me look at this. So let me share my screen.
I'll tell you when it's visible.
Okay.
Okay, Mukesh, I think we're able to view your screen now, so you can go ahead. Okay, I think we lost audio again. Okay, so I just like everyone to just bear with us for a few minutes till we figure out the issue.
So am I audible, Mervin?
Yes, you are.
And my screen is also visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So a very good evening once again for everyone. So my screen is visible. So I will be presenting on a very interesting and a beautiful feature which is provided by NIF, that is DCC, that is NIF Command and Control. So I'll be starting with what is DCC. So DCC is a command line, or you can say an application programming interface utility, which will help to perform basic operations that you can do command, and you can handle various services at all the NIF components. So it will also tell us about different service statuses. It will tell you about the system information and how you can do a backup of your configuration files, how can you restore your configurations, and it will basically streamline your entire management process, and it will also automate all your checks and fix. So it will be helpful in for all the existing customers and partners for checking if a situation like if the mail is not received, so at that time what they have to do, and if there are no logs received and not able to see on the console, so that time what has to be done, and if there is any connectivity check, so how we can do that particular connectivity check. Also it will be helpful in the ticket handling, or also seeing what are the different services active, or the services which you want to stop, or services which you want to restart at all the NIF components. So that is why we need the DCC. Now, after that, we'll be seeing how are you going to start with the DCC. So for the existing customers and the partners, you will be requiring the NIF install and the Docker install. So we are going to start with the downloading of the compressed zip file from the centrally available website that you can see it from the here. So once this is downloaded, so it's a compressed tar.gz file. So it will be downloaded into your system, and you need to extract it or unzip it, and then you can use this. So before that, what let me take you to the console. Okay, so this is how you start with the DCC. Now you are logged in into the sudo mode, and as in the root mode. So here you can just start with okay, so you log into your system, your Ubuntu system. So in that you need to log in, and when you're just looking into it, okay, let me just have another section.
Okay, I think we're having some technical difficulty, and it's been some time since we've had some technical difficulty. But okay, so while Mukesh takes the time to figure out what the issue is, so just a reminder, you can go ahead and ask questions. I know we have we've not touched upon much upon DCC and all of its informations, but obviously there could be questions about what Mikhail and Lenora have presented upon, very specially Mikhail, because there's a lot of questions that go around in terms of threat intelligence. Previously, we had a presenter that had come and spoke about how you can initiate SOC operations with open source threat intel, right? And once in a while, I do have these questions come in to me asking me, what is so important about premium threat intel? Why would somebody pay extra for something that is open source? But as Mikhail explained, there's a lot of understanding and there's a lot of expertise that go behind just curating all of this information and getting it out. I mean, I know I give the weirdest examples sometimes, but it's in the form of let's take it as cheese, right? So your normal processed cheese is very easily available to everyone, right? You don't pay a premium for it. But at the time when you go into something that is processed in a different manner and is aged and kept at a different level, that thing costs a bit extra, and that thing has more value to it. That's the most important thing. That's the most value to it. When you have Kaspersky Lab statistics, you have Kaspersky Lab expert systems and expert analysts working on that data and making sure and assuring you, keep in mind there's assurance that this data that has been providing, or any form of threat intel data that is being provided, premium threat intel data is provided, is assured that you'll have the least amount of false positives, and that is what sells. That is what the gold is at. That's the gold standard right over there. So you're assured that this is vetted information and you can use that appropriately. So I think Mukesh is online, so she'll go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so as you can see, so we have logged in into our system, and here when we see the list of folders inside it, so here we can see the folder NIF. So we go to the folder NIF, and inside that you see the list of two more important aspect, that is your Docker key and the YAML file, where you provide your IP address from where it is connected to. Now this is a setup for the A10 component is installed, and in which we are going to use the DCC features by uncompressing the DCC file. So now before going inside this, what we are going to do is we are going to make our Docker up. So for that we are going to do Docker up -d, so that my the Docker is running and can be used. So apart from that, what we are going to see is, so we are going to see all the running Docker. So you can see my NIF component A10 is running, and you can see that the state is up. After that, you want to see the logs. So okay, now we are getting the logs and it is completely working. Once this is done, another aspect which you need to see is that you are accessing to the NIF container via SSH. So for that we give SSH, and this is the command. So 826 is the port number, and in this we provide the password. So once you provide the password, and you can see this password as well as you can see this into, I'll share you the screen where you can look into it. So you can see that you want to have the NIF container via SSH. So this is how we are logging to the NIF container, and this is the password which we are going to use. So this can be used for all the NIF components as well as for the free, you can say freeware if you are using. So let's come back to the console where we are going to put this password. And once you see the screen, welcome to the Ubuntu version. Now you are inside your Docker container. And in this, we are going to traverse to the path where we have the NIF and the Docker ID. So So once inside this, let's see what do we have. We again see the Docker ID and we can see the YAML file. Now we are going to go inside our Docker ID and let's see what all you get. So before coming to this, once you download the compressed file of the DCC, it is stored in on a path where that is like your variable temp folder. You need to move that to the NIF deployment key folder. So that folder is this folder which is moved. Now you need to uncompress this by using the commands. And once it is uncompressed, you can see a folder which is made over here, that is the DCC. That is the uncompressed folder. So now you go inside this DCC folder and let's see what we have inside this DCC, which consists of all these functions, all these folders. And inside that we are looking for init.sh file. Now we are going to call this init.sh file. Now this is going to load all the packages required to work with the DCC. So once you see that previously it was root@netmon and this path, now you have one more variable added at the extreme left, that is the environment for the DCC. So once you get this, means you are successfully connected and the DCC features can be used. So in order to work with this, just type the keyword DCC and enter. So you'll get a list of commands. So now this is how you start working with the DCC. So now I'm going to take you to my slide. Okay, so we had seen what is DCC, why it is required, starting with the DCC. Now we are going to see the functions of DCC. So these are the functions of DCC. So we have 5 very important useful features. That is function, that is the checks function, DAG function, service function, setup function, and system function. Now, once at if you want to see the connectivity or you want to work with all the features of one of the component or all the components of NIF, so you go with the checks function for the first. And then you, if you want to see the connectivity with your unit or your name server, so you check with the checks and what all services are running. So it will be all in the checks function. Like it's basically like basic check recipes in the DCC. Then the next function is the DAG function. So in the DAG function, it will give you about all the diagnostic function. And I'll be taking you to how you are going to work with the DAG. And then we have the service function. It will give all the service statistics of all the NIF components. Then we have the setup function. So it will create help in the backup and the restore of configuration. Then we have the system function. So it will give the system statistics for NIF. So let's go with the checks function. So in this, you can see the CPU memory utilization or disk utilization. You can see the EPS stats, queue server status, or you want to see your database health and the server status. You want to see the connectivity. So let me show you directly on the console, how are you going to work with the DCC. So in order to start with this, so we already are inside the DCC. So you type DCC checks and it will give you a list of sub commands which you can run on. Now we are using the A10 component. If you have installed, if you have using the adapter data store or a correlator, for that also you can use the same compressed file, DCC compressed file, which you have downloaded. Now in this, we are looking into the A10 component. So we type the A10, which is of all lowercase. Here you can see various information or very depth information, like how much CPU is utilized, how much disk is utilized, how much memory is utilized, and then it will tell you about what is the EPS status. Now you are seeing now that the EPS status is not given. Now this is when, if you are connected or the devices are integrated and EPS is set, so here you are going to get the EPS count inside these braces. Then also you can see the queue server status, alert queue status, report queue status, and all the services inside this A10 component. If you're using only the adapter, so instead of A10 service status, you are going to see adapter services status or data store services status, or your correlator service status. So these are all the combinations of all the NIF component services. Suppose you have the CR threat pool. So these are the services. Uh, so if you want to see, okay, you want, it is like a task executor, it will execute all the scheduled tasks. If you're working with the DS threat pool, okay, you can see they have a particular PID and the status is running and the uptime is 1 day and the particular time is given. So DS threat pool, it's also known as a task manager. It will work as a query execution in the pipeline. So suppose you have pipeline F1, F2, F3, so it will be in the threat pool. So these are the list of all services inside A10 component. Wherever you see the keyword listener in the starting, it shows that these are all the services related to the adapter, which are the logs which are coming inside. So if you see the blue coat UDP, so you can say that it is listening to the UDP packets. If you see the listener CF, it will tell the services that will receive logs from the common event format, that is the CEF forwarders, and the exact valid log information would be there, and it will be sent to the event pass processor for the processing. Also, you can see that you have HTTP listener or your HTTPS listener, and you have the ingest if the data which is being stored at the data store, so you will have the status running. In this, you can see all the statuses. And suppose if you have the SSHD service or a scheduler service, so these are all being active. And then you can see another feature, that is the in-queue value. It will provide the length and the in-queue value will be provided over here. So then after that, you will have your event parser processes and what level it is provided for a particular data, and parser would be said if the processed queue is empty or if the processed queue is still going on. So that would be at the EPP in queue and the out queue value. Then also you can check your database server status, if your server status is okay or not. So it will be over here. Also, you can see what is the current index. So by looking at it, you can say, okay, the last data was punched in at what particular time. If you see that it was punched like a last before 3 days or like 1 week, so you can directly say that you are checking or looking into if the logs are being received or not, or if the device is sending the log to the adapter or not. Also, you can see the server connectivity. So it will give you the cluster name, the deployment key, and the system name in this server information. Also, you can see the NIF version, which is 8.4.0. Then also you can see the connectivity status. So it will provide all the data stores, their particular IP address and the port numbers which it is listening to. And in the end, you can see the UNet umbrella network connectivity status, that it is connected. So now this was related to the DCC checks. Now, if we come to now, this was related to the A10 component. If I try to do DCC checks AD, so it's going to tell you that a bad request. But if you had installed this on the adapter, this will give you all the details related to the adapter. So now let's go to the another function, that is your DAC function. So here we had seen the checks function. So these are the details which you get from this. And now let's see the DAG function. Here you will see the connectivity, data cluster, queues, and the worker. So now this function is going to help you to check if the connectivity between the adapter to data store is present, or correlator to data store is present, or from or connectivity with the unit, or connectivity with your server is there or not. So this function is going to help you do that. And also the sub function, that is your data cluster, this will be related to, and this will be active while you're using the data store. So if you're working with the adapter, so you'll not get anything related to data store, because data are stored at the data store level. So in this, you're going to see what are the allocations, shard allocation, what are the open indices, close indices, and if you want to delete a particular index, or you want to list all the indexes available, so that would be done at the data cluster. Now, if you see the queues function in the diagnostic function, in the queues, you can see if there is any emailer queue or a report queue or any job which is in the queue. So that would be seen over here. And then we have the worker. So this worker function is going to tell you about that it is like when a task is ready to run, okay, and there is a job scheduler, so that it gets published in the queue, as in like it will have the list of tasks. So there is one worker. So in order to execute this task, so that would be handled by a broker, so that will execute the task or the jobs. So this is like a like you can say job scheduler and an executioner. So that will be handled by the worker function. So let us see how you can work with the. So let me take you to my screen where you are going to see the DCC diagnostic function in the DCC. In this, you can see connectivity data cluster. So let me show you. If you want to see the connectivity, and in this you can see the sub command, that is your between AD to DS, CR to DS, or status and the unit connectivity. Here AD stands for adapter, DS stands for data store, CR stands for correlator. Now you want to see the connectivity between AD to DS. So it will give you the list of from AD to DS, it is connected on port numbers as mentioned over here. If any of the connectivity is not there, so you can see that it is not reachable, and then you can directly look into it. So now coming back to the DCC, where we were working with the DCC DAG. Here we had seen the connectivity, and now we are going to see the data cluster. So if you see the data cluster, so these are the list of functions available to you. So we can execute this or use this function by the command. So suppose you see the allocation. So it will give you the number of shard allocated to each data node or a disk. So suppose if I just go with allocation, so you can see that disk availability or indices, and what is the percentage, what is the disk used, what is the host IP, what is the node name, and the number of shards allocated. So these details you can see into the check function directly, which it is giving you a complete information. When you go over here, it will divide it and show it to you like this. And then when you see allocation, also the features you can do at the data store level, you can see the current index, you can also delete a particular index, you can see the health of a particular cluster, or you can see the list of indices, or if you want to make a particular index open or a close, so you can directly use this. Or if you want to see the node topology, so it will tell you the cluster topology, like number of masters and number of slaves in this. Also, you can see the number of running tasks. So let's just see one of the features, like you want to see all the running tasks. Okay, so it will provide you, okay, so it is providing me, okay, now the result is at the cluster in this particular IP. The node is this, parent ID is this, and it is running time is provided, start time is this, particular task ID is this, and type is transport. So you can see there are like these are the list which you can say if there are more lists, so will be listed over here. So let's come back to the DCC DAG data cluster. So in this, if you want to see a particular open index, okay, so for that you need to show the list of indices. So you can just give the indices. So indices will give the in-depth information of each index. So here you can see show the open indices. So if I just take in the data cluster, so I'm going to show the list of open indices. Okay, so these are the open indices. Each index is given by the name DSDB, that is your data store database. Okay, and it is given by the year, your month, and your date. And you can say that this state is open, which means you can read the logs from this indices. If the state is given as close, then you won't be able to see this. Also, it will provide that the Intel state is open, the logging is open, system data is open, and the UStats are open. So let's come back to the DCC, where we had seen the DCC diagnostic functions, and that we had seen DCC data cluster. So now we will look on the DCC DAG, and that will see the list of queues. So in this, So you can see that you can look into what is the ingester queue. So it will return the data queue length, or if you want to see the invert queue, it will give you the event memory length. If you want to see the list of keys provided for the, for all the schedules, so it will provide that. If there is any notification sent, or notification email or anything, so it will tell how much the notification emailer length is present. Then if you see the queue status, so it will provide the particular queue status. And if any report is scheduled, so it will give you the report length, as in like the number of reports which are in the queue. So if there is anything like the reports are not getting, or they are not coming, so you need to come to this feature, this DCC diagnostic function, and inside that you need to look into this queue, and so that it will help in the troubleshooting and as well as in proper ticket handling. Okay, so now after this function, so let's come back to the slide. So in this, so these are the functions which we have seen. Now we are going to see the worker function. So suppose if you have a particular job schedule. So let's come back to the console where you are going to see the feature of the diagnostic, that is the worker. So you go to the worker. Inside this, you can see what are the active jobs, what are the different worker queues, registered tasks, or the reserved jobs, or anything which is scheduled for an hour, like every week or every Sunday at 7 p.m. This report has to be mailed to this particular notification group or a particular email ID. Or it will also tell that what is the worker information, or what is the status of this particular broker. So this will be seen at the worker level, and this is a very important and a very interesting feature to work on. Now let's come back to the slide. Okay, so this we had seen on the worker, and now at the diagnostic function. Now we are going to see the service function. Here this is a very important aspect. Now if something is you want to look into a service of the adapter, or the data store, or a correlator, or a A10 component, so you need to directly come to this service function so that you can manage your services. So here you can start a service, you can stop a service, or you can see the status of a particular service. So this will be done at the service function. So let's come back to the console where I'll show you like what all different features you can get into the console. So for this, you go to DCC, and also you can just directly type DCC service, and it will tell you, okay, you can see the list of allowed services. You can restart a service. Whenever you want to start a service or restart a service, you need to provide that particular service name. And also you can see the status, you can stop a particular service, and you can see the tail of a service, that it will print the last 10 lines of a log for a given particular sequence. So let me just show you the list of services. Okay, now it will give you the list of services which are allowed in this. So these services which are, if you want to see the status of them, you can directly see it into the checks, where it will tell you when was it started, as in like, is it running since how long, and the status running or stopped, or or you, if you want a restart on this. Okay, so this was your DCC service. So, and also you can see the EPS count of a particular service, and you can stop a service. And if you want to see the tail of a particular service, you can just provide that service name. So I'll take you to my slide, and where you will see another service. Okay, so we have seen the service. Now the best feature of the DCC, you can see the setup function. Now you have made a lot of changes into the configuration files, and you want to take a backup of it. You want to restore them, or you want to change the port number or the password of NIF. So what you can do is you just directly have to come to the setup function, and in this you can directly do all the restoration, like resetting all the statistics can be done over here. So let me take you to the console. So here you can see, instead of the services, you can also, the beautiful way to see is like you can just provide DCC enter. And if you want to go to the DCC setup, in that you can directly see the backup list, and you can see related information in this: change the DCC port, or reset statistic, restore, or DCC admin password. Now I want to see the backup or the backup list. So you can say now the backup of the configuration file, and all these configuration time along with the time is given. If you want to reset your statistics, it will configure back to your previous configurations. And if you want to have a restore, so you need to provide the restore, and it will take a backup of the file based on the particular date. So now let me take you to the slide. So the last feature of the DCC, that is your system function. So this function will give you options like the system information, complete system information, like your CPU utilization, memory disk utilizations. You can see the NIF system information, the NIF version details, IP address, network stats, and the system package information, process status, if the process is running, if the process has stopped, and the system status. Now, in order to do this, now you were able to see this system information for the A10 component. You can see the system information for a particular adapter system or particular data store or a correlator. So if there is any way, suppose if you can see if your memory is utilized more than the threshold, so you can just come over here and you can just see if because of this issue you were not able to send the jobs or send the reports and all. So you can keep a track of it by using the system function. So let me take you to my console, where you can see DCC, and inside that you just go to system, DCC system, and you can see the CPU, disk, NIF version, info, interface, memory, network IO, processes, and the status information. Now here, if you want to see the NIF component which is connected to one or more than one interface, so you can see the IP address it is connected to, or what is the network IO it is associated to, or you can see the list of processes you can see. So if you just look into the info, so you can see, okay, now this you are going to get, that is the deployment key you are into, and this is the system ID, and this is the system name and the cluster name. And if you want to see the interface, so it will provide you all the interfaces that it is connected to. You can see LO, you can see it is connected to ENS 160 system. So these are the features in the DCC which you can see. And let me take you to my slide. So these are the various important features where the customers and partners can look into it. So this is just a brief introduction about it. So in the next NIF Connect, we can take you to a deep depth information, like how in what all functions are providing you and what all things it can handle. So I think Mervin, so that's all in the DCC. So for any queries, like you can put it on the Q&A section. And I hope you enjoyed listening to the DCC and what it can do. Okay. So thank you everyone for attending this, and over to you, Mervin.
Hey Mukesh, thanks. Thank you very much for that in-depth, presentation on the NIF command and control. Basically, I see it as one whole system. I mean, you just touched the surface. I know we are, I have also had a look at DCC. We just basically touched the surface of what the NIF command and control can do. It, in essence, it's basically a monitoring system that can diagnose, manage, monitor, and debug most of the NIF components. This is irrelevant of how complex your setup is. If you have an A10 setup, that means you have a single instance setup, or you have a distributed setup, and of all the components separately placed or in different locations. This is one tool that can actually help you in managing your NIF console. So rightly put by Mukesh, that this can help customers and partners alike, and even new users. So just for information, we have the free forever NIF console available on a website that allows users to use it for 100 GB per month, absolutely free data utilization of 100 GB per month, and you can use DCC with that setup. So that's as as far as we're going. So thank you again, Mukesh, and hope to see another session on DCC. I believe all of this is documented, so we can definitely share this information with viewers. Right. Again, coming back to sharing knowledge and becoming a Konnect community hero. So you can obviously, write to us at konnect@nif.it and share your ideas, what you'd like to present, and what's your background, where do you come from? Give us all this information. Let us, we will be more than happy to get back to you and discuss the possibilities of any one of you. Any one of the community members, coming here upon NIF and presenting NIF Connect and presenting, right? Also at the same time, would like to once again thank session contributors, technology and knowledge partners, Kaspersky Lab, for the generous contribution in terms of Mikhail actually coming here and presenting, and even the session that was provided, the license keys for that whole presentation that was provided by Lenora. And at this point, we are going to hold on this right now because of the lack of, it's the first time I'm saying this, but due to the lack of questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole thing offline, and we have a bunch of questions that, me and the team will basically decide on. And then based on which the winner of that, if there is a winner that will be announced, we will directly inform that person via email, and all relevant information like the Konnect participation certificate, as well as a 1,000 rupee gift voucher will be provided to him, through email itself. And if that person is wins, we will obviously include them in the next Konnect. That's Konnect 7, wherein we will mention them or feature them on a slide with their name and everything. So that being said, I would like to end this meetup. It's a great meetup. Thank you again. Closing words of thanks to everyone. So Mikhail, thank you very much for that great presentation and contribution. Thank you for showing us the importance of premium threat intel and what goes behind that premium threat intelligence at Kaspersky. Thanks to Leonora for an insightful presentation on how NIF can work with Kaspersky. Additional thanks to Sanket and Karthik for working in the background. I put them on a slide, but I thought I'll repeat their name again so that they know how much we appreciate their hard work for this. Special thanks to knowledge and technology partner Kaspersky once again. Last but not least, would like to thank all the community members for attending, and just remember and contributing. Just remember that you, the members that are the ones who make the community. So it's very important. And we acknowledge that and appreciate that. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Thank you for writing into us with your suggestions and your contributions. So very much appreciate that. So till next session, I would like to end by saying stay fit, eat healthy, have fun, and good evening. Take care, because it's raining cats and dogs outside. That's what I've heard. So take care of yourself. That too. And I'm signing out. Thank you.